Go.
All right. So not sure how cool I looked in the last video when it started, so I'm trying every time to see if I can look just a bit cooler. Maybe this helps, maybe it doesn't. My daughter asked me to wear a Moana dress, so I went with the Hulk hands because you don't want to see me in a Moana dress. All right, we're reading this week. I'm going to show you what you're going to be doing for your assignment, and this is something that's going to be turned in at the end of the week. This is one of our important reading projects. We have 3 of them that we are going to complete by the end of May. What we're going to do is a 5-finger retell. And we have done 5-finger retells during read alouds, during story time, and during guided reading. What you're doing for a 5-finger retell is you're going to tell me about the characters. You're going to tell me about the setting. Who remembers what the setting is in a story? 2 things. When and where the story takes place. And oftentimes the setting can change, but we want to focus upon the most important settings within a story. Then we're going to look at the problems. Then we're going to look at some events. And what events means are the things that happen between when we discover the problem and when we figure out how the problem is solved at the end of the story. I'm going to do my 5-finger retell today from chapter 1 of Friendship According to Humphrey, which is a book that most of us are familiar with. And if you have not read chapter 1 yet, I'll attach the link that Miss Larson sent out so that you can read the first chapter so that this makes more sense on what we're doing. So when I'm thinking about Friendship According to Humphrey, the first thing I want to think about is the characters. And in the first chapter, there are probably like 25 different characters. And I need to narrow down the most important ones. The first one that I'm going to add to our list is Miss Brisbane. She is the teacher from room 26. She's a very important character. I also got to add this guy. If it's according to Humphrey, he is our narrator. He is telling the story. He is definitely going to be on my list of characters. Other ones, they mentioned so many different kids with so many different characteristics in the class. I'm just going to lump that all into one. And I'm going to write students. And are there any other important characters? Oh yeah, there's that new guy who's causing a lot of problems. What's that new guy's name again? He says boing a lot. He might be a little slimy. That's right, his name is Og. Setting is the when and where our story takes place. What is the setting of Friendship According to Humphrey? So let's look at the when. Did they talk about the when in chapter 1? That's right, they do. They're always talking about how cold it is. And they mention that the story begins right after winter break. Whoops. You know me, I'm bad with colors. So I'm going to put after winter break. Where? There's a classroom. So I'm going to put room 26, elementary school. Now, what's the big problem that Humphrey's having in the beginning of our story? I know it has something to do with Og. What problem was Og causing for Humphrey after all the kids come back to school from winter break? That's right. Problem. The new pet Og is making Humphrey jealous. Now, why was the new pet Og making Humphrey jealous? Imagine if we got a pet frog in our classroom. How much attention would that frog get? Quite a bit is the correct answer to that. So, events. I'm going to really look for the key events in here. So, new pet Og is making Humphrey jealous. Events. Kids. Ignore. Can anybody tell me what the word ignore means? That's right. It means they're not paying attention. Kids ignore Humphrey because of Og. Now, since we did our five-finger retell from chapter 1 of a 12 or 13 chapter book, we're not going to really have an ending to it yet. So I'm just going to write for ending, don't know yet. For your assignment this week, you're going to definitely have an ending. So let me show you where your assignment is. We open up our handy computer or your printed out packet, whichever you please. We're going to go to the English Language Arts choice board. And you'll notice under reading response, it says fiction reading to the max, which is right here. It says read the fictional story reading to the max and or select a fiction book or story of your choice. So if you don't have access to this material, you can use any fiction book that you would like. Fiction meaning it's not true. Or you can select reading to the max. Well, let's go and select reading to the max and see what that looks like. My bookmark. And here it is. So it's a short story like we've read together. Your assignment before we meet for Zoom on Wednesday is to read this story and come up with a list just like I have come up with for Friendship According to Humphrey. So from reading to the max or your own fictional story if you don't have access to reading to the max, I want you to tell me who are the main characters? What is the setting, the when, and the where? What problem is happening in our story? And this is the big problem. What happens to start helping to solve that problem? And how is the problem finally solved? When we meet on Wednesday, we are going to talk about this together. Then we're going to take my five-finger retell, and together as a group, we're going to turn it into a high-quality paragraph, which is what your final assignment for this will be. But I would strongly recommend just starting by coming up with a list like this for Wednesday. Then your homework on Wednesday will be to take the list, just like we're going to do together, turn it into a high-quality paragraph, which we will turn in and share on Friday. If you have any questions, please email me, text me, call me, or knock on my door if you know where I live. Have a great day.